live at the fabulous Stratosphere Hotel and Casino, Pat Gold Productions proudly presents professional gambler John Patrick.
Hello and welcome to the show. So you want to be a gambler 2022. I'm your co-host, Miss Andrea. Our show tonight is Lady Luck. Are you lucky? Our special guest is professional gambler, author, professional sports handicapper, Mr. John Patrick. Yes, and special guest taped interview by gambling astrologer Miss Gwen Miller. We look forward to your comments as usual and your cool questions. Your host is the G-Man, aka G Craps, and the author of Platinum Craps and Dice Setting book, direct from Las Vegas, the gambling capital of the world, Mr. Garrison!
Hey guys, welcome to So You Want to Be a Gambler 2022. Viva Las Vegas, bright light city, gonna send my soul. It's another hot day in Vegas, about 100 degrees. I hope all you cats and kittens are rolling those numbers and making your points. All right, a little drink from my King Dice Cup. And let's bring back Miss Andrea. This is her second show. She did a great job last time, so we decided to come back, have her come back. All right, and we want to give her a nice rose as a welcome gift. All right, there you go, Miss Andrea.
Thank you.
All right. So we also have John Patrick on the line. He's going to be with us in just a second. And before we get started, again, we just want to thank all the people from YouTube that have been so nice to us. In fact, they just sent us a note that said we just got 200,000 views from all the shows, so we appreciate that. In fact, I took down one show I did years ago about dice setting. That was another 200,000 views. I guess they didn't count those. But anyways, thanks for everybody that checked in and watched the shows. We had a lot of interesting comments from the last show. If you didn't see it, it was called the 10 Top Myths in Craps and Dice Setting. And it was pretty interesting because a lot of people found out some interesting information that they didn't know. All right, so we thank you for all your support. We also want to thank, I want to give a special shout out to a gentleman who drove all the way from California. He made a special tabletop for us. His name was Jeff Seaver. He's from BigJeffCrapstables.com. This guy does great work, and we're going to play a little video about him and show the kind of work he did. He did some great work, and we want to thank him for that. So let's get started. All right, this show is going to be a little interesting. It's post time. Oh, it's the triple crown. All right, we got the triple crown. Well, we're going to do a subject matter that probably a lot of you may not be totally familiar with. It's called luck, Lady Luck. And everybody knows that there's an energy in the universe. In fact, even dice are made up of atoms and molecules. So everything has an energy in the universe and the energy at the table. In fact, if you look up the word luck in the dictionary, and I have my old Webster dictionary here from college, it says, and I quote, "A force that brings good fortune or adversity, the events or circumstances that operates for or against an individual." So may the force be with you. All right. Everybody knows that there's 4 types of tables. We've gone over this before. There's the hot table where everyone's rolling numbers, everyone's favorite. There's the don't table where people are, 7-ing out. There's the choppy table, okay, where it goes back and forth, and then there's the torpedo table, all right, and that's where wherever you make your bet, it's opposite. Just hit it. All right, so John's going to be on early because he has some things he may want to do. It's 9 o'clock in Florida. So if you have questions for John, get him in early because, he wants to answer all your questions as soon as possible. John, are you on? You there?
Still here.
All right, John just got on, guys. So we salute John. He's all the way from Florida. He's been kind enough to do the show for us. He was feeling a little under the weather a couple days ago, but he's a trooper. So if you have any questions for John, and it can be on tonight's subject matter or any other questions, we're gonna have Miss Andrea write them down, and then we're gonna do some questions and answers. Okay. So here's one thing I don't think a lot of people understand. Craps is just a game. All right, just like chess or checkers or Monopoly or Yahtzee. It's a game. It's not a career. It's not a profession. Sometimes you win in the game. Sometimes you lose in a game. All right, and I'm sure everybody's found that. Even the best dice setters in the world have good days. They have bad days. So you have to, play logically. And a lot of people get up to the table and they just lose all their basic logic. They think, I'm going to play until I win 100, 200, 300, 400%. John's he taught me this years ago. It's not how much money you win, it's how little you lose. Look for a day's pay. In fact, John, I want to bring you in right away. What's the chance of people winning at the casino, would you think?
The chances of chances of winning, it's all based on the knowledge, the bankroll, the knowledge you have of the game. What do you bet when you win? What do you bet when you lose? Which is money management, and of course discipline. You think of a number between 2 and 4. 3. You lose 3 hands in a row. Leave that table. Don't wait for a 4th loss. It's a pattern running against you. The 4 things of the big 4 is bankroll. You should have enough money to cover at least $300 at a table. Second is knowledge. You got to be perfect at the game you choose. Perfect, not good. Perfect. The next one is money management. What do you bet when you win? What do you bet when you lose? I know exactly what I'm going to bet on the first bet. If I win, I know exactly what I'm going to bet. If I lose, I know exactly what I'm going to bet. If I lose 3 in a row, I'm gone. But if I win, I go up and pull. Let's suppose I bet $20, and I win $20 on the bet I made. Okay, I go up to 30 and pull back 10. So that even if I lose that next bet, all I've lost is $10. But if I win, then I regress. So I won $10. I won $20. I got 40. I went down. I bet 30. I went down to $10 in my pocket. So worst I can lose is $10. And let's suppose I won. Oh, that's when I really get, you might call it chicken. I'm going to dive. I dive all the way down to a $10 bet again, and then go to up and pull.
So would you say it's a fair...
And at 10, I go to 15 and pull back 5. If I win at 15, I go to 20 and pull back 15. If I win at 20, I go up to 30 and pull back 15.
So would you say it's fair that a crap player has about a 50-50 chance of winning overall?
At the track?
No, at the craps table.
Oh, the craps, it's 50-50.
Right.
It has nothing to do with odds. It's 50-50. Because you don't know which way it's going to go.
True.
All you have to do is watch 3 games. If you lose 2 to 3, I'm gone. I lose all 3, I'm gone.
And then what about...
if I win 2 to 3, I go up and pull. Let's suppose I bet $20 and win. I go up to 30 and pull back 10. If I win at the 30, I go up to 40 and pull back the difference. If I win again, I go all the way down to $10. I got a recess in front of me that's going to keep me there for another half hour without worrying about if I get right into a losing streak. Excuse me. I've been to doctors all day.
Yeah,
All you gotta do is pick the game you play, and you bet an amount of money that is a percentage of what you take to the casino. If you take 1,000 to the casino, you break it into 3 separate sessions of $335 apiece. You buy into the first session at $335. If you win, you go up to $45 and pull back the difference. If you win again, now you dive down to $10 and pull all that winnings from 2 cans down. And then you start up and pull. You win at $10, you go up to 15 and pull back 5. Up and pull. So I'll just say this so Gary can get to this next question.
Well, you also had a great comment in one of your shows. You said there's about 70% of the people get ahead during the day. And how many of those people...
80% of that 70%...
Listen to this.
...give the money back. I'll repeat that for you people that are hard of hearing. 70% of you people who go to a casino, you get ahead. 70% of you. But of that 70%, 90% are not happy. So 90% give that money back. 90% of the 70. I know what's the matter with you people. I've been gambling since Christ was an altar boy. And I'll tell you, I know when to walk. When I see me lose 2 hands in a row, why stay at that table? There's dozens of tables.
Well,
Go ahead, Gav.
well, no, it's great advice because
Any questions, give me a holler.
I will. I always carry a calculator, so if 70% of 100, that's 70, get ahead, and 90% of that 70, that's 63, give it back or reach into their pocket for more money, then you're down to about 7 people out of 100 that actually walk out of the casino with a profit.
Exactly right. That's a great point, Gav. I hope you people heard what Gary said. When you get ahead, what do you have to stay for? Can't you set a win goal and a loss limit when you go to the casino? Bring enough money to play 3 sessions. If you bring $1,000, you take $335 to each session. Let's suppose you say, oh, boy, I'd like to win $100 today. Let's suppose you get ahead $130 at the first table. Put 100 to the side and bet the 30. If you lose it, put the 100 in your pocket, walk over to the cashier, cash in, go back outside, jump in your car, and go home. See if you got the guts to do it.
Well, that's
why people lose, and Gary just showed you an excellent example.
Yeah,
7% of the people who really get ahead in the beginning walk out a winner. 7%? Are you people nuts?
Yeah, that's discipline with a capital D. And I even wrote my book. I forget what page it was. You know, people walk into the casino and they say, "Well, I want to get ahead 100, 200%." Well, the banks pay you 1% a year. So if you deposit $100 chip or $100 into the bank, in 1 year they give you $1. That's 8 cents a month. Okay, that's what the banks pay, 1%. Maybe you'll get 2%.
1%. That's right. And you come back and you say, "Oh, I found a bank that's going to give me 1.25. Oh, I'm going to take all my money and put it into that bank." Yeah, you go to the casino and you play like a jerk.
So you just have to have some
most
discipline.
of the people that go to the casinos do play like jerks. You don't know how to win. Learn how to win. If you read any of my books, in the upper right-hand corner, learn how to win. You got to learn how to win. And what is that? Getting ahead and not giving it all back.
Well, that's what's part in the super system, and I learned this. Win goals, loss limit, lock in your profits. That's why they have 2 racks in the crap table, guys. The first rack is the money you play with. The second rack is your money. That's the money you don't give back, and that's the money you keep. So you want more money in the second rack and less money in the first rack. But here's an interesting, this actually happened. I was playing about a week ago at Suncoast. It's right around the corner from me. I had a friend, she's just learning, and it was a real choppy table. I mean, it was terrible. It went to a torpedo table, then it went choppy. I'm doing every trick I can. I'm hedge betting. I'm playing both sides of the table. Make a long story short, I walked out with about $100 profit, all right? And she said, God, normally you win more than that. How come you only walked out with $100? I said, honey, it's not how much money you win, it's how little you lose. And then I said, I want you to close your eyes. In fact, where's Miss Andrea? I'm going to bring her back for a quick session, okay? Miss Andrea, I want you to close your eyes just for a second. If anybody's watching this, they can close their eyes. Close your eyes. And I just want you to picture $100 of groceries in the trunk of your car, or for you guys, and I have a Suburban, a full tank of gas. And I told her that's what we won, $100 worth of groceries or a full tank of gas. What's wrong with that? I'd be happy every day with $100 worth of groceries or a full tank of gas.
Free money.
Yeah, but greed kicks in. They want to go for 200, 300, 400, and that's when...
Yeah, you should repeat that last second sentence from the back. Why can't they be content with $100? I mean, holy good grief! What do they want? Some of them can't even spell craps, but they get ahead $100 and say, "Oh, this is my day. I'm going for the kill."
Well,
by the time they walk out, they run up a bill of $400 that they put against their credit card. I mean, why do you think there's so many successful casinos, not successful gamblers? Name 10 professional gamblers that you know make a living. Like I said, I've been gambling since Christ was an altar boy. And boy, did I lose in the beginning. Oh, my God. I never knew when to quit.
Yeah, you have to be happy with
Good now.
You have to be happy with a day's pay. And the casinos know this, okay? So they know that if you get ahead, chances are you're going to give it back. And the pendulum swings. In fact, we're going to be getting into some deep stuff about timing. We're going to talk about astrology. We're going to talk about Feng Shui. But I wanted to bring John in first. By the way, if we have any questions for John, I'm going to have Miss Andrea check them out right now. Here's one. Put that up by Rich. That's a nice quote. John, I know you don't have the computer on, but it says, I read both of John's books and Garrison on pocketing cash with common sense and money management. Hey, I'm going to give him a round of applause. All right? Because that's what it's all about. Pocketing cash, money management, discipline. Be happy with a day's pay. I used to go in and say, oh, I want to double my money, Now I'm happy with $100. Sometimes only
Their
$50.
money. Isn't that awful, Gareth? They want to double their money. Playing the game they know nothing about.
Well, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. It's funny. I mean, I go on YouTube and I go on Facebook and all that stuff. You always see these photos of guys with, all these chips. And they say, today I won all this money, blah, blah, blah. And that's great. It's just it's human nature. Winners tell everybody. Losers only talk to themselves. So everybody wants to tell you how much they win. But I've never seen anybody with a note in their hand on Facebook that says, guess what? Today I lost my whole buy-in money. Nobody ever says that. It's just how much I won, how much I won, how much I won. But that's one game out of maybe 10 or 20. Remember, craps is a game. Sometimes you win a game, sometimes you lose. It's just like checkers, chess, Yahtzee, or Monopoly. It's not a career. And a lot of guys think, well, I'm going to read a book about dice setting. I'm going to learn my dice sets. And I think I wrote one of the best books on dice setting. Not bragging, just a fact. But dice setting is only 10 to 15% of the game. John was the one that put it into my head years ago.
Talking about platinum craps. I have 2 copies right here on my rug. And I turn to I have 2 copies, autographed by Gary. Platinum craps. You get them at Gambler's Book Club. Get them at Las Vegas. You can get them anywhere. Or write to Gary. He'll tell you, read that book, Platinum Craps.
Well, it'll help you a little bit.
About the thing.
And you got to read John's 600-page book. I mean, his advanced book. That's why we put the super system together. Dollar for dollar, it's the best. All right, John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little bit of some technical stuff. I'm going to talk about astrology. I wrote that chapter in the book about Gwen Miller. So if you want to stick around, we'd love to have you there. We may be getting some more questions for you. Okay?
Yeah, I'll stick around for a while.
Okay.
If I hang up and you get a question for me, just give me a buzz.
Well, I can't call back. We're right in the middle of the show.
I'm listening. For you people listening listening to Gary's show right now, I'm going to ask him a question. Since I'm a low-down punk, everybody knows that, I'm going to ask him a question that he doesn't know.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to ask him.
All right.
I did not tell him the answer, because that's the way I am.
Yeah.
I want to catch him. Who the heck is he to have his own TV show? Look at me, I'm out shoveling dirt all day.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm jealous. But I'm going to ask Gary, the two most important things you think when you walk into the casino. So you take your wife and your best lady. I don't take your wife and your best lady down to Atlantic City. They'll get along.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
I'm going to ask Gary,
The two best-
what are the two things you say before you walk into the casino?
Oh.
Gary, tell your audience.
All right,
Please don't blow it.
two things you set when
What's
you
the
walk.
two things, the most important that you say just as you pull up the handle open of the door?
All right, John said, what are the two things you set for when you're playing? And I believe, and I may be wrong, but you have to set a certain win goal and you have to set a certain loss limit. How much you're going to win and lock that up. If the table's still hot, you can still keep playing with your excess. But if you start to lose, you have to have a loss limit and you don't want to go past that loss limit. Is that close, John?
You know, Gary, you're a pain in the butt. I wanted people to call in and say, hey, Chuck, you really caught him. I didn't catch him at all. Did I tell him what I was going to ask him? No. I only got to talk to him 2 minutes before we went on. And I said, the really reason I wanted to talk to him, I told Adriana to open up another 2 buttons. But she hasn't done it yet, so the heck with her. I won't talk to her for the rest of the night. 2 more buttons, Adriana. What's that going to do? It ain't going to hurt you.
Andrea.
Andrea. Think on, O-N. Oh, by the way, John, I'm not the only one that read your book. We have Alan, who's definitely a super system member, and he just put win goals, loss limits are just important, if not more, than dice influence and strategy. So he's right on the same page as we are. Win goals and loss limits, guys. That's what it takes.
Hey, Garrison, John, just call me
Okay, let me just finish.
Call me A.
People, the question I was going to ask Gary, what are the 2 most important things you said before you open the door of that casino? I did not prompt him. I did not tell him I was going to ask him that. I'm not a nice guy, to be honest with you. I wanted Adriana to open up 3 buttons, but I'm such a rotten guy, I asked before.
She doesn't even have any buttons.
I said, Joan, oh my God. Jeez. Well, Adriana, I'll put my address on your website tonight. But Gary answered the questions. You set a win goal and you set a loss limit. Every single one of you people that listen to Gary's show right now, if you listen to his answer, he was 100% right, and I swear by all that's holy, I'm a devout Catholic and I'm a devout coward. But he answered. You set a win goal and a loss limit, and the day that you people are listening to Gary's show right now, do it. Okay, I'm going to sit back and wait. I'll wait a couple of minutes. If I don't get a call, I'll be sitting here. And if somebody wants to ask a question, Gary will get in touch with me.
All right. Well, yeah, don't hang up, John, because we can't get you back. But we're getting a lot of people that are leaving comments. They agree with everything you said. So if you have any questions, actual questions for John, please put them up on the screen, and Miss Andrea will write them down. So basically, we were talking about luck, and I want to get into some things that a lot of people probably don't understand. Luck is also opportunity meeting preparation.
Gary, I gotta go. I gotta check my games.
Okay.
There's 6 games going for me right now.
You got.
I gotta hang up for a minute. But if you get some calls, people want to ask me questions, just ring me up and I'll come right back.
All right, we'll let you go, and I'll have Miss Andrea call you back if we get some questions for you. Okay?
Okay, good.
All right, John.
Later.
Thanks very much, John.
Okay.
All right. John's a professional handicapper, so he has a lot of things going. He's got like 3 TVs going on at one time. But anyways, I made this statement. Lady Luck's a fickle female. Luck is opportunity meeting preparation. Now, what does that mean? It means be prepared. Know the game. Know the big 4, the little 3. Know the game from top to bottom. And then when the opportunity arises, make your move. It could be on a do table. It could be on a don't table. It's not going to be on a choppy table, because unless you're a psychic, you're never going to be able to figure out a choppy table. And it's not going to be on a torpedo table, which I wrote in the book. That's where every bet you make, it comes up opposite. We've all been to torpedo tables. If I lose 3 bets in a row at a torpedo table, I stop for a while. I used to stay and say, oh, things are going to change. No, they're not. If it's raining outside, you can't go outside and say, stop raining. You have to wait for that energy to change, and that's what this show's about energy. So luck is opportunity meeting preparation. Players think that just because they know the game a little bit and they know some dice setting, they're just going to go in and clean up. Well, if that energy is against you, you're not going to clean up. They're going to clean you up. Okay, so you have to take in everything into consideration. And in the book, I wrote a chapter called Lady Luck, the Fickle Female. There's a lady that I wrote about. Her name is Gwen Miller. And what John is to gambling, Gwen Miller is to astrology. They're both the Warren Buffetts of their best of their professions. So we were invited to go to Frank Scorbetti's Gambling Jubilee. This is back in the day when I lived in Michigan. There was a big show. All the Golden Touch people were there. My friend Howard Rock and Roller, who's in town, he was there. We had an aura camera. We were doing aura energy photographs of people. Gwen did a big seminar on transits and timing. That's what energy is, timing, and they're called transits. In fact, I'm going to play you a short little clip from the radio show, and she's going to talk about, let me bring in the double screen. She's going to talk about what they call the wheel. Now, for people that have never had an astrology chart, and let me see if I can put it up here for you. I don't know if you can see this, but a chart, your horoscope is really what they call it's a birth chart. It looks like a wheel, right? It's done into 12 sections. It has all the planets. Most people, though, their sun sign. The newspapers print their sun sign. That changes every 28 and a half days. We just left Leo. We're now into Virgo. I'm a Gemini. My birthday's the same day as Frank Lefty Rosenthal, but we have different planets. So you have to have somebody do your chart, and we do charts for people. Then you can take that chart, compare it to the chart for the day, and see if they coordinate. And that's when you can get onto a good transit. So I'm just going to play a little clip from her show, and I want you to listen to it. And then I'm going to come back and show you an astrology software program that we're working with on a test mode, all right? But I've used it. I'm the guinea pig, and I've used it against my chart. So here's Gwen Miller from it's a gambling show in Michigan. It was done with John Patrick. He was on the show, and she was on the show right before we did Frank Scorbetti and Golden Touch's Gambling Jubilee.
When you're iron sync, you're on the wheel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the wheel then?
When we do an astrological chart, it looks like a wheel.
Okay.
And what it's based on is where the planets are in the sky and the Earth's rotation on its axis and a bunch of astronomical calculations that we won't get into. But it looks like a wheel. And when the wheel of the sky of the Earth turning on its axis, when that matches yours, and when the planets match your planets, then you're on the wheel.
So does that happen, several times a day or once a month? Or how does that work?
So in order to be really on, there has to be some planetary activity for your chart. And that doesn't happen all the time. If you're a good gambler, you can go in, and most of the times you should be just satisfied with your small wins.
Right.
And be thrilled with your small wins. But once in a while, you're going to hit that hot streak. And those don't happen too often. We might look at, a real hot streak might only happen maybe 8-10 times a year. But every day you have better times of day. And that can be shown too. So even if you don't have a huge hot trend, you might be able to a little bit be more on than off, you know what I'm saying?
So you can tell when somebody's on at a particular time of day. You can tell them what their best time of day to go play a game of chance would be then.
Right. For that person. Like, for instance, we were in Atlantic City a few years back, and we thought, well, as long as we're here, we might as well play, right? And we walked to the casino. Of course, we had the computer in the car, so I looked at it, and I said, okay, this looks like a good time, but only like about 20-minute period here. And then we want to go away, because in about 2 hours, that 20-minute period is going to hit again. You know, another 20-minute period.
I see.
And so we did that. We did it 3 times, and we walked away winners all 3 times.
Wow.
And it was very interesting because we didn't realize it at the time, but these guys standing next to us at the end of one of the trends, I said, well, Gary, our time's about up. We got to go. The table's going to get cold. And the guy next to us said, oh, you don't know who's shooting over here. It's not going to get cold, right? And apparently this was a really hot day shooter, and I didn't even know this. And the very next roll, he 7'd out.
Wow.
Then the guy leans over and says to me, when's the next train going to hit? So we told him, and about 2 hours later, that we all went to lunch. They went their way, and we went ours, and we all came back about the same time. We met them at the cashier's window about a half hour later. We were all cashing in and happened to be at the same time. They were cashing in for about $20,000.
Wow. Nice.
Because the table was hot. Now, I hadn't done their charts, so I didn't know what was going to happen specifically for them, but I just knew it would be a better time.
Now, right, but I was going to ask you, a trend for you, a better time for you might not be a better time for them. I mean, it's all
I was
individually
just looking basically at when the overall energy of the day looked good. And of course, you're more likely to hit, if everybody's hot at the table, you're more likely to win, even on a small on the wheel trend than you are if it's at a cold table.
We're talking with gaming astrologer Glenn Miller on the Michigan Gaming and Casino Show. If you have any questions for Glenn or would like any information, give us a call at 888-900-9966, 888-900-9966. We'd love to have you join the conversation.
All right, so that was just a little bit of like about a half-hour interview that she did, and luckily I got a copy of the tape and I've saved it, but it gives people an insight to something that they've never really studied before. Everything in the world is timing. You know, the comedians say, what makes a good comedian? Timing. What makes a good time at the table? Timing. In fact, when people say, we wish you good luck, what they're really doing is they're saying, we wish you a good energy force at the table and you roll a lot of numbers, aka good luck. That's what it is, an energy force. May the force be with you, all right? So there's a lot of books out that you can get. I've got a number of books in my collection. This is one of the oldest ones, the Astrologer's Handbook. If you have your chart done, you'll know where your sun is. That's your outgoing personality. Moon rules your emotions. Mercury, how you communicate. The key planet for gambling is Jupiter. Where the Jupiter relates to in your chart and where it relates to for the day's chart, that's the key. And you have to have some software or know a little bit about astrology. But Jupiter rules gambling. The chart's divided into 12 sections. They're called houses, okay? The second house and the fifth house are the two houses that rule. The second house rules money. The fifth house rules gambling, all right? My Jupiter just happens to be in my fifth house, which is pretty positive, all right? And like I said, I've got a sun in Gemini. I was born the same day as Frank Lefty Rosenthal. I'm pretty good with numbers. Frank was excellent with numbers, one of the best handicappers out there. So there is a correlation between your chart and timing. In fact, Gwen, she said she had the computer in the car. Well, she had the best software you could possibly buy. I mean, she had the best of the best, okay? The Rolls Royce of computer software. I just picked up a new program, and I'm going to show it to you and see if you can see this. It's a program that literally gives you the times of the day and when's the best times to play based on your chart. So I'm going to see if I can get this over and you guys can see it. Now let me bring up the camera a little bit. Well, I don't know if I can do it. Okay. But basically, it's a program that gives you, now you see that green spot right there on the screen? I'm looking backwards over here. That was the time of day that was the best time to play. So on the computer, I can open up that green spot and I can see the best times to play. Well, I went to the Red Rock and I wrote down the times in my on a little piece of paper. I hit the ATS small twice. I missed the ATS tall by not hitting the 12 twice. So I had a pretty good roll, and I rolled a lot of numbers in between. And then about 2 minutes before the trend was over, I took down all my place bets. I made a couple DC bets, and eventually I sevened out. But I had all my bets off the table, and I won on the DC bets. Okay, remember, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. It's not a question if the 7's going to come. It's a question of when the 7's going to come. As John says, he's been playing since Christ was an altar boy. Well, the 7's been coming up since they were playing with the sheep bones, back in Europe. That's where Roll Them Bones came from, by the way. So there is an energy at the table. There is a way to kind of help you find that energy, and that is the key, guys. All right? But again, win goals, lost limits, don't be a pig. There's 3 types of players. Bulls that are very aggressive and play when the numbers are hot and everyone presses. That only happens maybe 1 out of 15 games. Bears start out very conservatively. I'm always a bear. I want to get some of the casino's money. I want to play conservatively and see how the table's going. And the 3rd type of player are pigs. And pigs always get slaughtered. Unfortunately, there's more pigs in the casino than there are in the slaughterhouses in Kansas City and Chicago. Greed will kill. It kills in life. It kills at the table. Be happy with a day's pay. It took me a long time to learn that, guys, but now I learn it. I'm happy if I get $100 worth of groceries or a full tank of gas. I put 2 racks. The first rack is the money I'm playing with. The second rack is the chips I'm going to go home with. Remember, the chips on the table are not your chips. They're not your chips until you go to the cashier's cage and cash out. All right? You're just leasing those chips from the time you're there. When you cash out and put the money in your pocket, then it's your money. Miss A, do we have any questions at all?
We do. We're going to go to Mr. Frederick. He asks, gee, is it
Click
smart?
it. Put it up on the screen.
Yep. Is it smart to trust the random?
No, put it up on the screen.
Move your hand, please. Thank you.
All right. Read it out. There you go.
Let me speak. Gee, is it smart to trust the random or first-time shooters at the table?
Well, you're going to find a lot of them. In fact, here's a pop quiz, and I'm going to answer this at the end of the show. Why are most long rolls done by random rollers? Okay? You got all these dice setters out here. You've got all these people that are dice influencers. But why are most of the long rolls, including the longest roll, 154 rolls, done by random rollers? Can you do me a favor, put that back up again? I want to talk to Mr. Frederick. All right. Is it smart to trust a random or first-time shooter at the table? Hey, it's a crapshoot. Sometimes first-time shooters get very lucky, okay? Look at the lady in Bogota, second time playing, rolled 154 rolls. I like to chart the table, okay? We did a show last month called the 10 Top Myths and Craps. I talked about the reverse 5-count system. I start on the don't side, the don't pass line for the first 5 rolls. If they 7 out, you win. If they get past the 5 rolls and they start to roll numbers, you may, at your option, take that bet down because it's not a contract bet, and you can place the point or any number you want. Most people like the 6s and the 8s. Now you're kind of following the trend of the table. The little 3 is theory, logic, and trends. Trends are so important, so you got to follow the trend. Remember, hot table, cold table, choppy table, torpedo table. Some random shooters do really, really well. Some new shooters do well. So again, don't put too much money on the table. You want no more than 15 to 20% of your bankroll, whatever your chips are, on the table at one time. It takes 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 11 shooters to have a real long game. And by that, I mean over 12 to 15 rolls. Most games are 4, 5, 6 rolls, okay? You know, you see it all the time. You see people shooting on Facebook or on YouTube, and they're shooting 1 out of 2 have a real long roll. The rest of them are just moderate, okay? And these are AKA dice setters. They're setting the dice, but even when you set the dice and the dice hit the table, at least 50 to 55% of the time they go off axis, and now you become a random shooter. So play conservatively, chart the table, and if it seems like it's a hot roll, then press it. I don't want you losing too much money early. Any other questions, Miss A?
Yes, so next one comes from Dice. He wants to know, why do most only show their win chips and never their losses?
Well, it's human nature, Dice. Winners tell everybody. Losers only talk to themselves. I had a cat who was 16 pounds when I lived back in Ohio. Every time he caught a mouse, he would bring it to the side door like he was going to get a cookie, all right? He wanted to show what he did. And I looked, his name was Mr. Magoo. I looked at him, I said, hey, Mr. Magoo, how come you couldn't catch that big blackbird that's flying around, you know, squawking at you and making fun of you? He looked at me with that look like he was too fast, I couldn't catch him, you know? Winners tell everybody, losers only talk to themselves. I said earlier, you see all these people showing you all these chips that they won for that one game. I want to see your win-loss record over your last 10 to 15 games, okay? I've never seen anybody put their hand out on Facebook and say, today I lost my whole buy-in. It's just human nature. People want to tell you how, you know, what they did and how they won. People say to me, how come, Garrison, how come you don't put your wins and losses on your Platinum Craps Group page? I go, well, because we live here. You know, we could play 24 hours a day, 7 times a week. That's 168 hours in a day. To be honest with you, I just don't have time. What, today I won 10%, I won 12%, yesterday I lost 5%. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, and I don't think the players really care. But to answer your question, it's human nature. Winners tell everybody, losers only talk to themselves. All right, so let me know if we have any other questions. I'm going to get into a subject that the casinos are now using, and it's an ancient topic. It's called Feng Shui. All right, and I'm going to give you an example of Feng Shui. But Feng Shui is, in fact, I have an actual book called Feng Shui Craps. It's written by an Oriental doctor. It's an interesting book. He talks about placement, where to play in the casinos. The casinos have Feng Shui experts now. And when they build, this is the encyclopedia of Feng Shui, all right? What it is basically placement. Where you place things, not only in your home, your office, but in a casino. And they spend millions of dollars on Feng Shui experts. I'll give you just one quick example. Feng Shui 101. Say you're walking into your bedroom and you have a dresser that's on the right or the left side of the door. The door swings open. It's easy to get in. What if that dresser was right behind the door as you're walking in, and you go to push the door and you can't get in because the dresser's there? Well, that dresser is blocking the energy of the room and you can't get in. I mean, we're talking very simple. But Feng Shui is putting the casino or your home or your office in such a way that it brings in positive energy. Basically, the elements of Feng Shui are water, earth, metal, and fire. All right? You're going to see a lot of casinos that have water in the casino or in front of the casino. Bellagio, Steve Wynn, probably one of the best examples. Everyone thinks, oh, this water show is so great. It's a great water show. Steve Wynn was very smart. He knew that water brought in prosperity, brought in gamblers. That's what part of that whole thing was for. If you go into New York, Trump Plaza, when you go into the Trump Plaza, he had a Feng Shui expert that worked with him. He has water going down the inside of the building. Go to the Mohegan Sun. The Indians, they've been following this. They believe in working with Mother Earth and nature. They're all in conjunction. The Orientals call it Qi. It's positive energy, mixing your energy with their energy, positive energy. So there's a whole subject called Feng Shui. The Asians and the Orientals have been using it for thousands of years. I'm going to give you an example that I wrote in the book. In fact, let me see if I can get the book real quick. If you have the book, it's on the chapter that we're talking about, Lady Luck and positive energy. But years ago, the MGM used to be Bally's. All right, that's where the MGM was. And they thought it'd be real great to have an entrance of a lion's mouth open up, and you were to walk into the lion's mouth to sign in. They thought it'd be real fun. Well, it wasn't that fun. The Asians refused to walk into a lion's mouth because it was totally bad feng shui. It was bad energy. So they had to have a separate entrance just for the Asians, because there was no way the Asians were going to walk into a lion's mouth. It was just superstition. Well, here's what happened. Coincidence or bad feng shui? The MGM had the worst fire in the history of Las Vegas. It started in a restaurant, but it spread like wildfire. It killed 72 people. It still goes down as the worst fire in the history of Las Vegas among hotels. When they closed and they opened up on Tropicana, where the new MGM is, what do you think they did? They closed the Lion's Mouth. They have a lion now in front of the casino, but you don't have to walk through a lion's mouth anymore. They learned their lesson. It cost them millions and millions of dollars. All right. MGM, I know for a fact, because I know some people that work for them, they have feng shui experts on their staff. Most of the big casinos do. They're not going to tell you this because they don't want you to know this. Okay, they don't want you to know about timing, and they just want you to come in, play nilly-willy and everything like that. But it goes back, thousands of years. You go to the library, get a book on basic astrology. Go to the library, get a book on basic feng shui. I know people that I have designers, friends of mine that use it in homes. They use it for landscaping. I mean, they use it all over. Okay, it's placement. Placing things in a certain position that's going to give you positive energy. And they use things like mirrors, and there's a lot of the plants and all kinds of stuff. So, all right, how we doing, Miss A?
We got some questions.
All right, let's go back to some questions.
We got Daniel here. He says, what do you think about a dice setter having certain rub on the table and throw the dice 3 to 5 times against it?
Let me take the book down so we can see the question. All right.
Why does this happen?
Could you read that again for me, please?
So Daniel wants to know, what do you think about the dice setter having a certain rub on the table or throw the dice 3 to 5 times against the wall, then pick up the dice and roll them? Why does this happen? I see it all the time.
All right. Rolling the dice 3 or 4 times against it, that's an old street move. Okay, that's street craps. Okay, and the guys that are doing that grew up on street craps. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, it's not going to make the dice roll certain numbers more favorably. You know what's going to make you roll certain numbers more favorably? Learn your 6 master sets. I wrote about it in a Platinum Crafts book. I broke it down for you with the colored photos. It's all about the inside access numbers. Dan, I know you have the book. I know you probably know all your 6 sets. But that's what's going to help you roll the dice more accurately. Not throwing them backwards against the back wall or throwing them up in the air or juggling them. It's just, superstition and mumbo jumbo. But if you learn your 6 sets, you set the dice the way they're supposed to be with the inside access numbers, and you stay on access and you have a good throw. But the tables are getting a lot more bouncier. I mean, I work with a company here in town, Casino for You. He showed me the foam rubber they're putting on the casinos. Some of these casinos are so bouncy that if you don't start betting on the don't side, you're never going to win because it favors the don't side. That's another show we get into later. I did a show called All Right Bettors Die Broke. Go up to your search bar, type that in YouTube and watch that. But hopefully that answers the question. All right, what else, Miss A?
Okay, we got Dan DVD. Do you avoid the pass line and don't pass the line on the come out roll?
Click that for me. Dan, you didn't see the show last month. The 10 top myths in craps. I never bet the pass line. Never. Why? You have 8 ways to win, 28 ways not to win, 4 ways to lose. Your 8 ways to win are 22.22% with the 7 and 11. All right, you got 4 ways to lose with the 2, 3, and 12. The other numbers are point numbers. You have to roll twice. So in the super system, we show you how to bypass that. Go up again, type in the 10 top myths and craps. We get into it very deep, but I'm not a big pass line better. Now, if I'm rolling the dice, I have to, but I bet the minimum because I'd rather take as much behind the line and odds. Remember, the pass line only pays you even money. It's a terrible bet. You got to roll the number twice. The first time it only puts the bet into action. You didn't win a nickel. Then you have to roll it again, and they pay you even money. You know, that's a good bet. I mean, it's a terrible bet. All right? Don't bet it. All right? Anything else, Miss A?
All right, we got A.D. Hyatt. This is what he or she asks, what is the best don't strategy to play on the cold table?
All right, click it. Let me see it up there. What is the best don't strategy to play on a cold table? Well, AD, every system wins on occasion, every system fails on occasion. I've been using this 5-count don't system. You know, Golden Touch has the 5-count system. Again, go up to the top 10 myths, I get into it. But I start on the don't pass line side. If they 7 out within 5 rolls, I win. If they get past the 5 rolls, I have the option. I may not take the bet off, but I could place a number and catch either side of the table. It's called charting. I like the don't pass. I did a show called All Right Bettors Die Broke. I don't lay odds. Why? I'm getting 100% return on my money on the don't side. As soon as I start to lay odds, I'm giving that power back to the casino. Why should I lay 20 to win 10? It doesn't make any sense. But all the books tell you, take a don't pass line bet and lay the maximum odds you can. Why? Because you're getting a lower house vig. Well, we have a saying, all this house vig is crap with a capital C. We don't care about house vig. We care about money. We want to take more chips to the cashier. You know, it's all about return on investment, ROI. So go check out the show, All Right Bettors Die Broke. Also check out the show, the 10 Top Myths and Craps. We get into it much deeper. Anything else, or I'm going to go into something else
We got
into the
one
show?
last one. We're going to go back to
One last one, all right.
Mr. Frederick.
Mr. Frederick.
He asks, is there such thing as a random shooter strategy on the table?
Well, I think we answered that, didn't we? We talked about random shooters strategy. I said you can start on the don't side, start very minimum, chart the table, see how they're going. You know, some random shooters have a good roll. You know, Patricia DeMiro, 154 rolls, second time playing. I'm a little cautious with random shooters. I do take a couple DC bets. That's more into the advanced super system. You know, it's not a question of when the 7's coming. Or not a question of if, it's a question of when. All right, so I'm just looking for a couple hits with a random shooter. I call my bets down. I don't leave I don't leave money up on random shooters a lot. Okay, I play the don't side 90%. Well, Danny, you know, Danny's a don't player. John's a don't player. So, all right, hold the questions for a second. You can put up some comments. Okay, I want to get into some statistics. Okay, and one person that I looked up, I said craps is a game, just like chess, checkers, Yahtzee, Monopoly, baseball, football. Sometimes you win the game, sometimes you lose the game. I know from working with John on a handicapper situation with sports, you know, anything over 55%, he considers a winning percentage. You know, 60 is very good, 70 or 75, you're an expert. You're the Warren Buffett of handicappers. So I wanted to bring out something I'm going to show. I got to go to the table for this. All right. And I wanted to show, I wanted to compare the craps to Pete Rose. Now, Pete Rose had 4,256 hits. He was the biggest selling, or he had the most hits of any player in the history of baseball. But I wanted to break it down for you. You know, there's the 80-20 rule in business. 20% of your items do 80% of your business. Well, look at Pete Rose's statistics. Out of that 4,256 hits, 3,215 were singles. He was looking for a day's pay. What did I tell you earlier? Look for a day's pay. That's 75.5% of all his hits were singles. He had 746 doubles. That's 17.5. So between singles and doubles, that's 93% of all of his hits. And he was the best hitter in the history of the game. 135 were triples, that's 3.1. And can you take that off for a second? And 160 were home runs, 3.7. So 93% of his hits were singles and doubles. Only 6% were triples and home runs. But here's the thing. You see all these guys going to the table and they want home runs. They say, well, I want to roll 20, 25 times. It's not going to happen. You're going to have more singles, more doubles, you're going to get some triples, and you're going to get a few home runs. The average game lasts 4 to 6, 4 to 7 rolls, you know. The dice setters have in their mind, I'm going to go up and roll 15, 20, 25 times. No, you're not. You may get that one good roll, okay? Like I said, when I tracked the table and I looked at the chart for the day, I had 2 good rolls back to back, all right? And then I got out of there because I knew that the energy was going to change. But if you compare it to what Pete Rose did, he was looking for a day's pay. 75% of his hits were singles. We talked about small wins at the beginning of the show. That's a small win, a single. But a small win is always better than a small loss any time of the year. I'll take a small win over a small, medium, or big loss any day of the year, okay? Then he had 17% doubles and 3% triples and 3% home runs. And he was the biggest, he had most hits out of any hitter in the world, okay? You see all these statistics. Back in the day, Babe Ruth was the home run king. Well, what they didn't tell you is, yeah, he had a lot of home runs, but he also had the most strikeouts in some seasons. So it's like he had the home runs, but he 7'd out just as much. All right, so start thinking logically. Go up to the table, look for a day's pay. Be happy with a single or a double. When those triples and home runs come, it's gravy and icing on the cake. But most people hit a single, they hit a double, then they get greedy. They say, well, I'm going to stay for the triples and the home runs. And what happens? They give all the money back. They go to the ATM machine, and now you're in the hole. All right, what do we have up there, Miss A?
That's all the questions so far. We just have a lot of comments.
Here's one. Let's see. I haven't met this gentleman before. Old Dog Crapper. Could you put that back up again? It says, my average roll is 10 rolls before a 7, but I still go for 2 hits and out the door, satisfied. There you go. I mean, there's a man who learned the lesson. He knows. He's happy with a $200 a day win. You know, you do that 5 days a week, that's $1,000 a week.
Got a question?
Question, all right.
We got Mr. Frederick again. Question for G or John. When sports betting, what has the better edge? Betting over or under, or money line?
Well, I can tell you this, Mr. Frederick. John loves the over/under, okay? Because it's an easy bet, you know. You're either going to go over some runs or under some runs. And I know he loves betting hockey because I've been with him for years. Okay, hockey's a really good over/under. The money line is a little more difficult because you have to either give or take runs, okay? But the over/under is a flat bet. It's like flipping a coin, 50-50. And John does his homework. He has a sports handicapping service. You can go on our website at platinumcraps.com. Let me put that up real quick. Get some more information about that. But I would probably say that the over/under gives you a little bit better chance of winning than the money line. For that reason, it's more of a flat bet. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. If you guys haven't been to the website, check us out at platinumcraps.com. If you have any personal questions, you want to order something, you can email us at garrisoncraps at garrisoncraps@gmail.com. Call my office. I'm here. I get calls every day, 702-487-5223. I'll be more than happy to talk with you one-on-one, ask specific questions. And now we're doing two-way video conference calls. I just worked with a doctor not too long ago. So I'm going to bring Miss Andrea back on a split screen. Here you come, Miss Andrea. So when we do a two-way video conference, we have I'm on one screen, you're on the other screen, and then we can bring in the table, and I can take you out. We can do a table. Well, there she is. But we can do a table situation, so it's private. That nobody's watching the show. And if you can't come to Vegas and you want to do a private two-way video show or a two-way video class, come online. We got the table here. We can go through all the big four, the little three, and you can ask questions because we'll be able to hear each other and see each other. It's just like being in person instead of being downstairs at my table where people come into Vegas, and I've got a gentleman coming in next week that wants to do a class. We can do a video conference anywhere in the world. Okay, so all right, let me see. I asked you a question earlier. I don't know if anybody came up with the answer. I said, let me just get rid of the table real quick, and then you can go back to. The question was pop quiz. Why are there more long rolls with random rollers than dice setters? Anyone? Bueller? Well, it's mathematics, all right? The reason you get more long rolls with random rollers is, let's say you have 100 players at a table. Let's say at least 90 of them are random rollers. Maybe 10 of them are dice setters, and maybe only 5 of them stay on access more than 50%. Well, the numbers just say to you, out of 90 random rollers, one of those is more likely to have a long roll versus the 5 that are dice setters. So mathematically, it favors the random roller, okay? It's just numbers. You have 90% random rollers, maybe versus 5 to 10% dice setters. Well, you're going to get a hit with that. You got 90% working for you on that, on your favor for a long roll. And that's exactly what happened to Patricia DeMuro, who I wrote about in the book. It was her second time playing, 154 rolls, 24, 25 passes. But she rolled a lot of 7s, okay? You take 154 rolls. You know there's 36 combinations to 154. 36 combinations on a set of dice. So you take 136 into 154, it comes out to like about 4.7. Well, there's 6 ways to roll a 7 out of the 36 combinations according to Hoyle. So if you take 4.7 times 6, she rolled about 24 to 25 7s. That's just the math according to Hoyle. It could have been a little higher, could have been a little lower. I would love to see that chart of 154 rolls, but the Bogota won't send it. They've got it, but they won't give it out. But just by using basic math, you can tell she rolled a lot of 7s. Fortunately for her and all the players at the table, they were all on a come-out roll. And I know for a fact she rolled 2, 3, 4 7s in a row, got that energy out of the way, and then went back to rolling numbers. I did a big show called High Roller Radio with Derek. It's on the YouTube. You can look it up. We talked about that, and he was very familiar with that roll. So I just broke it down mathematically. But to answer the question, you've got 90% or more random rollers at the table versus 5 to 10% dice setters. Your odds are 1 out of that 90 are going to hit a long roll versus the 5 to 10 that are dice setters. All right, anything else?
Yes, we got Daniel here. He wants to know when are you going to have your software available? When is it coming out?
Software, are you talking about the astrology software? Because that is something that I purchased from an astrology company. We're not going to really have any software on how to play. It's all about the super system. And in fact, Dan, let me go to the table real quick. And I want to give people, because I get calls a lot about the super system. And what it is you can either get it with the Platinum Craps book or without the Platinum Craps book. But you get the Platinum Craps book. you get one of John's books, either the beginning and intermediate book. If you're just starting, you've only been playing for, say, less than a year, start with this book. It's about 350 pages. And as a bonus, John actually signs the book for you, which is a real plus. You know, he actually sends us the books and he autographs them. So you're going to get an actual signed autographed book by the man himself. I don't know if that shows up on camera, but it's autographed. For the people who are a little more advanced, this is the Holy Grail, the 600-page advanced and intermediate book. All right? These are out of print. You can't get them anywhere. I was on Amazon. I saw this book for $600, unsigned. John sends it to you autographed. All right? The books you see on eBay, those are the cut-down version books by Lyle Stewart, and they're about 350 pages, okay, versus the 600-page book. Then you get all of John's classes on flash drive, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and super professional. Some people don't like to read, but the chapters are very short. They're like 4 to 5 pages. Read a chapter, watch the class. It's all on your computer, all right? And I put on my dice setting video on there as another bonus. So you get beginner, intermediate, advanced, super professional, and the dice setting class. And if that's not enough for you, and don't you think it should be? I mean, come on, you know? Don't you think it should be? We're going to give you not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. I'm going to give you 5 dice setting cards. And these are like little treasures. What they do is they have all the numbers, 2, 3, 12 at the top, all the ways you can make those numbers with dice setting, all the inside access numbers on how to set the dice. I know guys that actually put them in their chip rack, just as a little reminder, but you're going to memorize these pretty quick. One side has all the sets for the do shooter. You flip it over, it's got the sets to establish your don't point, and then the sets to 7 out. There's 2 sets to 7 out. All right, and then I just threw in another bonus. I'm throwing in, for the people that don't want to use software, I'm throwing in a tracking sheet, all right? It gives you 3 columns, and you can just circle your numbers. The first column has the come-out roll, 7, 11, 2, 3, 12. The second column has all your field numbers, 2, 3, 12. The third column has your place numbers 4 through 10, and all you do is circle the number. There's a place on the side if you want to add left and right, right and left, put it in a computer. But when I'm rolling, I'm just looking for what they call cluster numbers. If I see one number roll 2 to 3 times within 4 to 5 numbers, I'm on it because that number keeps repeating. They're called cluster numbers or signature numbers. So dollar for dollar, John and I have seen everything out there. I mean, everybody knows everybody. We've all seen the books. We know who the authors are. I'll put this up against anything on the market. In fact, I'll tell you what. You go online, you order it, you don't like it, you return it back in 5 days. I'll give you your money back. I mean, and we've got people. I mean, Dan was up earlier. I know he's definitely one of our members. But don't believe me. This is just the file we have just for the last 4 or 5 months. I won't mention last names, but we've got Damon from Hartford, Connecticut. He's got shipped out. Jerry from Moseley, New York, just north of Manhattan. Chance from Henderson, Tennessee. I mean, it just goes on and on. And these guys were all beginning players. They really didn't know much, okay? They read one book, bet a pass line, take 2 combats, blah, blah, blah. Now they're becoming really professional players because they're learning the big 4, bankroll, knowledge, money management, discipline, the little 3, theory, logic, trends, hedge betting, which we get into, playing on both sides of the table. John was the one who invented the Patrick system. They've named it the do-don't system and all these systems. It's all in John's book. And he has about 250 to 300 pages just on the don't side. You look up your book, I'll tell you what it says. Bet the don't pass line and take the maximum odds. It doesn't work, okay? So you really want to get into some great information. Check out the super system on platinumcraps.com. All right, and as far as dice setting, I wrote the fastest, the easiest, and above all, the most accurate way to set the dice. My little 10-year-old niece can set the dice in under 5 seconds. All you have to do is be able to count to 6. That's it. There's 6 sides to a set of dice. There's 6 numbers you can put together. They're called inside access numbers. Again, I did this show last month. People are saying there's 3, 4, 576 sets. It's mathematically impossible. You can't have 576 sets on 2 dice that only have 6 sides. You know, I mean, it's insane. All right, do we have any other questions?
No more questions, just
Dice
comments.
Setter. I'm waiting for. Put up Dice Setter. I'm waiting for the super sale. Well, I gave it to you because the super system's worth about $300 minimum. You get it for less than your buy-in, Dice Setter or Dice Grinder. Less than your buy-in. You can't afford not to have it, okay? So that's the super sale, because if I charge you what it should be, you'd be paying $400 to $500, and you'd be happy to pay it. You can go to these classes. I know the guys out there, they charge $500, $1,000, $1,500 for a 2-day class. This you're going to have for life, and you can go at your pace. You can watch 10 minutes of the tape, read a little bit of the book. You can watch 20. My little niece already went through the beginning class. She's halfway through the intermediate. Pretty soon she'll be at advanced, and then she'll be into super, and she's going to be a killer player. Killer. Okay? All right, Dan, thank you. Great job so far. So I'll tell you what, guys. We talked about why there's more random rollers, longer rolls with random rollers than dice setters, because the odds favor that. You got 90-10. We talked about timing, you know. Oh, and let me play devil's advocate. I've had people say, oh, Garrison, you're crazy. That timing, that software, astrology doesn't work. It's all mumbo jumbo. Well, just because you don't understand a subject doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means you don't understand it. I don't understand Chinese or Russian, but there's billions of people. They're speaking it right now as we're doing the show. They understand it, but I don't. Feng Shui, I can tell you for a fact that MGM and Caesars and Bally's and all these big corporations have Feng Shui experts on their payroll. I know for a fact, okay? Steve Wynn was one of the first. Donald Trump uses it. A lot of big players. And going back to astrology for 1 second, Arch Crawford is an astrologer. He's the #1 astrologer on Wall Street. He's been doing astrology for 25, 30 years. You know, they call it analytics, whatever. He's the best. Wall Street is the biggest casino in the world. It makes the casinos in Vegas look like little credit unions, okay? So if the people on Wall Street are using this type of information and this software and this formula, there must be something to it. I mean, yesterday the market went down 600 points. All right, some guys sold short and made money. But you got to know this stuff before it happens, okay? It's always easy to play second Monday morning quarterback after the fact. We want to know the information before it happens, all right? I made a comment on Facebook about all this tracking software and everything, and I have nothing against it. You want to put what's on the right, what's on the left, what's on the left, what's on the right, what's on the top, what's on the bottom. Go ahead. It doesn't bother us. Okay, but I said to the person, I'm looking for a software program that's going to show me the number before I roll the number, not after. After's like yesterday's weather. It's already happened. But if you come up with a software, if there's any software programmers out there, and you can write a software program that when I put in my 3 or 4 numbers, you can tell me what number is going to roll next, I will buy it. Okay, no problem. I'll write you a check today. But I don't think it's going to happen. They always tell me what happened afterwards, okay? Remember, there's only 6 sets. That's it. There's 3 ways to make the 6. There's 3 ways to make the 8. There's 2 ways to make the 4, 5, 9, and 10. And there's 2 ways to make the 7. That's it on the do side. So you can show me any combination you want. Right, left, right, top, bottom, forward, backwards, turn around, do the hokey pokey. It's all going to fall into the 6 sets. It's just math and physics, all right? On the do side, you got 4 ways to roll the 7. 1 way to roll the 4, 6, 8, and 10 with using dice setting, and 0 ways to roll the 5 and 9, all right? Those are the best odds you're ever going to get, and less than 5% of the players even use those sets on the don't side. Because they all want to win on the deuce, on the don't side, excuse me. They all want to win on the do side, but your best odds are on the don't side of the table, and nobody uses it. All right. John and I get into the don't side deep. Read the information. All right. So Here's one. Yeah, Bone Tracker. All right. So, I guess it's a good system. I just talked I've got a friend who's in the book. His name's Howard Rock and Roller. He's in town. He teaches it. He teaches dice setting. He's very good. When he and I were playing and we were doing information, we were getting information from the book. I had a 27 roll. Not bad, But I asked Howard, do you use any of that tracking software? He said, no. He said, I don't need to. He says, I don't care how many numbers I roll. I just want to make sure I get my bets in. I win my day's pay and I regress before the 7. So he doesn't care what's on the right and what's on the left and what's on the left and what's on the right. But with the tracking software sheet we give you, you can circle your numbers. You can put your right and left numbers on there, and then you can transfer them over to the computer. Okay? I'd rather roll the number, get paid, pay me, give me the dice back, and let's keep going. All right? Because this trend isn't going to last forever. So I want the dice back as fast as possible. All right. So any other questions, leave them here. I'll answer them after the show. I hope everybody learns something. There is an energy at the table. Okay? Everything has an energy force. Like I said, even dice are made up of atoms and molecules. Okay? So we'll see you next time. Miss Andrea, let me bring Miss Andrea back. She always does a great job for us. All right. There she is. She's the hard 10. That's her, the hard 10. All right. So, Miss Andrea, I know I didn't give you our slogan for when we leave, but we always wish our players one thing when they go to the table, and that is good luck at the tables, guys.
Good luck at the tables.
So we'll see you next time. All right. Use the energy. Miss Andrea is going to... Oh, there we go. Okay. We'll see you next time. Win some money. Don't be a pig. Go for a day's pay. Give him a kiss, Miss Andrea. All right. Hey. We'll see you next time. And go to the cashier with a little more chips. Go for a day's pay. Be happy. We'll see you guys. Enjoy.